Hey guys, PSChamber here, and today I'm talking about the Destiny Rise of Iron DLC. So, the Destiny Rise of Iron DLC is approaching in less than a month now, and I just want to talk about the things that you can expect to see in the Destiny Rise of Iron DLC. But anyways, let's get into the video. So, we're closing in on 2 years from the initial release of Destiny, developer Bungie's persistent world shooter. The game has come a hell of a long way since September 2014. At first it was kind of a dull mess wrapped around a solid shooter core, but with the help of 2 downloadable content add-ons and 1 major expansion, Destiny has been transformed into a pretty solid game that's even pretty dang fun. In its upcoming expansion, Destiny Rise of Iron, Bungie is out to drop one more big bunch of improvements on players. New missions, new weapons, new systems, and new improvements are on the way. Here's everything awesome that's coming to Destiny when Rise of Iron drops this next month, along with most useful info we can give. It's coming out September 20th, and you can buy it as a standalone expansion for $30, or as a part of Destiny, the collection, which it compiles the base game and all the expansions for $60. A brand new story. Rise of Iron's biggest change is a new story that adds a list of new stuff to do in Destiny. The gist of the story is that players will assist Lord Saladin, the character who usually runs the Iron Banner multiplayer event in the game's social hub, the Guardian Tower. The Iron Banner is named for the Iron Lords, a group of space magic superheroes that fought aliens before the Guardians, or alien-stomping player characters. Unfortunately, those Iron Lords all got wiped out at some point, except for Lord Saladin. The heroes of what wrecked the Iron Lords was nanotechnology called SIVA, or S-I-V-A. When it falls in the hands of evil scavenger aliens called the Fallen, players have to become Iron Lords themselves to deal with the situation in the new area on Earth called the Plague Lands. Your mission: recover the tech, destroy the bad guys, and save the solar system from certain destruction, again. So that means a new story campaign which will undoubtedly send players through a number of missions to explore all the new content. It'll also feature new characters and cutscenes, according to Bungie's video documentaries about the new expansion. New places to go. Rise of Iron will ship with new multiplayer modes and a new player versus environment stuff to do, like a big new raid, traditionally the best stuff Destiny has to offer, but beyond that, it also has new locations for players to visit and just hang out. The first of those is Fellwinter Peak, an earthside mountaintop where the Iron Lords used to hang out before they were all killed, apparently. You will fight the Fallen there, in the middle of a blizzard, which is new for Destiny. But it will also function as a new social hub, like the Tower in Queen's Bay in the Reef, where you can meet up with other players, switch out gear, visit shops, and, most importantly, pick up new quests. Expansions often bring changes to existing in-game locations, and in Rise of Iron, that means changes to the Cosmodrome. The rusting space shipyard players have been running around for 2 years on Earth. The nanotech SIVA, or S-I-V-A, is reshaping the place and the enemies in it in some ways. There's also the Plague Lands, a previously off-limits Earth area near the Cosmodrome wrecked by efforts of a group of the Fallen, the Devils, to locate SIVA. It's basically a ravaged post-apocalyptic landscape. It's got lava, it's got fallen fortresses, it's got gross SIVA, nanotech shifting it into something new and creepy. Undoubtedly, players will spend a lot more time there, just like the Dreadnought location in the Taken King, and, like that place, expect the Plague Lands to pack a bunch of its own unique activities. Brand new things to do. What kind of activities we talking about? It seems that, like the Taken King, Bungie is adding a host of new missions at every level of Destiny. The game includes a number of little things to do, like patrols, minor on-ground missions that increase your standing with certain in-game factions, and bounties, collectible mini-missions that have you killing a certain number of enemies or accomplishing certain tasks, and Bungie said there will be new additions to both. Rise of Iron will also add new updates. Strikes, Destiny's slightly longer 3-player dungeon type missions. In the new strike, The Wretched Eye, players fight Siva mutated fallen in the plague lands to disrupt their plants. In addition to the new strike, Bungie is repricing a few older ones, reinvigorating them with new something. Bungie said the Devil's Lair and Summoning Pits, 2 strikes that have been with Destiny from the beginning, will receive some kind of overhaul. It's not quite clear how they'll be changed, but since the Devil's Lair is all about the group of aliens at the heart of those whole Siva conflict, it makes sense that it would change to reflect their new abilities. Then there's the Raid. Destiny's 6-player mega missions usually take hours to complete. With multiple boss fights and vast locations, there are always the coolest things the game has to offer. They also require the most commitment because Destiny raids are top level content. You need to get your character as strong as they can be in order to stand a chance. If you got 6 friends and enough commitment to get that good, though, Destiny raids are pretty much the most fun the game offers. Rise of Iron's new raid is called Wrath of the Machine and takes players through a new swath of Cosmodrome. It'll take players through a giant wall that rings the Cosmodrome. It's basically where the new players start the game, and eventually on top of it. And of course, you'll fight multiple awful bosses with requirements for beating them. Start getting your friends together now. Lastly, there's also an area in the Plaguelands for cooperative multiplayer battling called the Archon's Forge. Similar to the Prison of Elders from the House of Wolves or the Court of Oryx in the Taken King, it's a Thunderdome-style public boss fight arena where you'll fight off waves of Fallen to earn special rewards. New modes to play. After years of waiting, Rise of Iron will give Destiny's players the ability to create private competitive matches. Though it isn't as flashy as the new story content, the new feature makes it possible to give friends invites to change the rules of Destiny's competitive players, and generally enjoy more freedom. The Crucible, Destiny's competitive multiplayer, will have a handful of new maps and a new competitive mode called Supremacy. Like the Call of Duty series game type Kill Confirmed, you kill an enemy player, then pick up a crest they drop when they die. Unless you pick up the crest of your fallen enemies, the kill doesn't count towards your teammate's score. If a team manages to grab the crest of one of its members, it denies the kill to the opposing team. The new maps coming to the Crucible include Last Exit, a Venus location that puts the fighting inside the area's vast underground transit tunnels, Floating Gardens, an open map in the Black Garden, that spooky location on Mars from the end of Destiny's original release, and Skyline, a Martian map set atop the planet's massive skyscraper. New stuff to get. The Taken King introduced the ability for players to get swords. In Rise of Iron, you'll get a big, giant battle axe. That's not the only new gear coming, though. Obviously, Destiny is all about leveling up your loot, and there will be a whole mess of new armor and weapons to collect. As videos and screenshots have made it clear, a lot of what we've seen looks like it's moderately on fire, so that's cool, too. As in every expansion, Bungie is amping up the light level cap, so you can get even more powerful gear and become even stronger, but hasn't said by how much yet. There will also be a bunch of new artifacts, a set of equipable loot in the Taken King. In Rise of Iron, there are several special artifacts you can earn that give you a special ability. Bungie mentioned in its video documentary series, some of the new artifacts can negate certain kinds of damage, give you infinite sprint, or the ability to mind control fallen enemies and make them fight for you. There are several of these to earn, and they'll change on a weekly basis, so players will have new artifacts to chase down after finishing Rise of Iron's story campaign, presumably for quite a while. Like every expansion, Rise of Iron will add new special armor sets in all of its major events. You'll find awesome armor and weapons throughout the raid. In Iron Banner, multiplayer events, and the Trials of Osiris, Destiny's super tough 3-player multiplayer tournament-like modes, there are also one-of-a-kind exotic weapons and armor coming. You can only equip one piece of exotic armor and one exotic weapon at a time, and they usually take a lot of effort to find or create. It's not quite clear how much of all this stuff to expect just yet, but there will likely be enough to keep players busy as they try to collect all the best gear. The best part of new equipment is looking awesome though, and that's where the new ornament system comes in. Ornaments add a new cosmetic layer that lets you customize your gear to make it look even cooler. With add-ons that give you armor flames, change the paint job, and more, it looks like every piece of armor will be customizable, like Destiny's existing shader system that lets you change the armor's colors. You'll be able to mix and match armor and ornaments for the coolest look. Oh, and everyone's favorite rocket launcher, the Galahorn, is coming back in big, beefed up way. The exotic weapon was a mega beast in the earliest days of Destiny, firing heat-seeking explosive missiles that shot off a bunch more little explosives that also tracked enemies. Later Destiny expansions that added stronger weapons sort of left the Galahorn behind, eclipsing its power level and taking it down on the rotation for high-level players. Those who've been craving some wanton destruction will be excited to know he's guns back in uniform. Sleek, black, and silver. But it's currently being offered as a Rise of Iron pre-order bonus. Brand new important details to know, like console support. For some players, the most important change for Rise of Iron is purely technical. You can't play it on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. If you've been going through Destiny on legacy consoles, it's time to upgrade. The good news is the upgrade path will be painless for most players who decide to upgrade for Rise of Iron. If you've taken even a couple of weeks off from the game, your progress will automatically transfer over from Xbox 360 to Xbox One, or from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4. If you've played the game since August 16th, you will be able to transfer your character easily between consoles once you upgrade. Even if you're on PS4 and Xbox One, you will also need all of your previous Destiny expansions to play Rise of Iron. If you aren't up to date, Bungie is issuing a new version of Destiny called The Collection, which packs all the expansions, including Rise of Iron. The whole package will cost you $60, the same price as the original Destiny when it launched 2 years ago. When they came out, the first two expansions for $20 each, and the Taken King went for $40. So that's a deal. As we noted at the top, if you're going for Rise of Iron separately, it'll cost you $30, which is less than the Taken King, but more than the first two expansions, The Dark Below and the House of Wolves. It's tough to say whether the price point is useful for making a judgment about the amount of content in Rise of Iron as compared to the other expansion. It's definitely bigger than the first two and seems comparable to the Taken King. It's also important to note that there is some exclusive Rise of Iron content on PlayStation 4. As noted by Bungie on the PlayStation blog, grabbing the PS4 version gets you exclusive story quest line in Rise of Iron. That'll take you to the Cosmodrome and rewards you with a new ship you can't unlock any other way. The PS4 version also packs an exclusive multiplayer map called Icarus, which takes place on the often mentioned but rarely visited planet of Mercury. This content may eventually make it over to Xbox One versions of the game, but not until at least fall 2017. There might be more cool stuff on the rise for the Rise of Iron, but we don't know about that yet. The Taken King actually had quite a few interesting secrets spread throughout it, like quests to unlock, exotic weapons that only pop up during specific daily missions, and the like. Bungie has 2 years of figuring out how to do Destiny well under its belt. If you've been waiting to check it out until it was improved, September 20th might be the time. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It took me a little while to make, so I really hope you guys do enjoy. Thank you guys for watching this video. This has been PSChamber. Remember to comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.